I will call to order tonight's joint meeting with the Planning Board and the Board of Commissioners on this second day of June 2025. If you would, please join me for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, first thing on the thing is to adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chair, I would request that the board add 2 items to the agenda tonight. Item 11, an ordinance amending Chapter 70 of the Lincoln County Code of Ordinances, and item 12, a closed session for attorney-client privilege.
Okay, we have an addendum to the agenda. Does everyone understand that addendum? All right, any discussion? All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. So we have an agenda adopted. We will move to the next item, which is the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Patton. Any discussion? All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. That passes. Okay, now we will move to the public hearings. So the first case the Planning Board and the Board of Commissioners will hold is a joint public hearing. At the conclusion of this hearing, the Planning Board will deliberate and bring the recommendation to the next meeting, which will be June the 16th of 2025 at 6:30. And at this time, I'll ask Ms. Gilbert if she'll.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So tonight we will be hearing both quasi-judicial matters and legislative matters. A legislative matter is a forum for expressing public opinion about a project. A quasi-judicial matter, though, is considered evidentiary and must be based on finding of fact as enumerated in the Unified Development Ordinance. More importantly, these findings must be based on competent, substantial, and material evidence in the record as required by law. Anyone wishing to speak at a quasi-judicial hearing tonight must be sworn in and must have standing. So I need to confirm that no board members have a conflict of interest in regards to the cases before us tonight. No member shall participate in or vote in a matter that would violate the applicant's constitutional rights to an impartial decision maker. Impermissible violations of due process include a member having a fixed opinion prior to hearing the matter that is not susceptible to change, undisclosed ex parte communications prior to any quasi-judicial hearing, a close familial, business, or other associational relationship with the applicant, or a financial interest in the outcome of the matter. Does any member of either board have such a conflict? No. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. And after we go through and the staff presents, if you are signed up to speak, we'll give you 3 minutes to speak. If you're here for a group, we'll give you 5 minutes. So, Jeremiah.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight's first case, Plan Development Number 2018-3A2. The applicant in this case, Bloom Incorporated, is requesting to amend the master plan for a Plan Development Industrial District that was originally approved in 2018 and then amended in 2023. This proposed amendment to the plan calls for a 40,000 square foot office and showroom expansion, the reconfiguration of the existing parking lot, and the addition of another driveway access on Old Plank Road. A concept plan for this proposed development was submitted as part of the application, and that plan, if approved, would serve as the master plan for the development. The applicant has provided with their application a summary of a community involvement meeting that was held on April 29th. Much of the conversation at that meeting was centered around post-construction stormwater design. And so I will go ahead and mention that later tonight we'll have a quasi-judicial case for a watershed special use permit specific to that topic. The property in question is located at 7733 Old Plank Road in Catawba Springs Township. and it's adjoined by property that is zoned neighborhood business, industrial, general, and transitional residential. There's a mixture of uses, including industrial, business, and residential in this area, and the staff is recommending approval of this request. You have our proposed statement of consistency and reasonableness in your packet, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have for me.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions?
Jeremiah, I understand that there's been quite a lot of discussion with the watershed engineer and that everyone seems to be working well together on this process.
My understanding is that the applicant has been in communication with an adjoining property owner, both during that community involvement meeting and then before and after as well.
And I think we're moving along pretty nicely on that from what I gather. Good, thank you.
Okay, anyone else have any questions for Jeremiah? Okay, is the applicant here? If you would state your name and address.
My name is Jake Modesto. I'm with CES Group Engineers. I'm the civil engineer on the project here representing the applicant. I do have the operator Bloom here as well if there's any operation questions. I think Jeremiah hit it pretty well as far as the application itself as part of this. You know, I do think the one focus that you can see maybe from a plan perspective is the amount of landscaping that we'll be proposing as part of this project. Part of this is going to be a renovation too of the existing facility, bringing that into more of a sustainable building. A lot of thoughts and considerations have been put forth to the building itself, both new and proposed, to bring that more into energy efficiency, a green infrastructure. We're implementing plenty of bioswales throughout the facility, and I cannot the amount of extensive landscaping we're proposing throughout the property is really going to make this really pop. The focus really is along Old Plank, so it's going to revitalize that entire corridor that you're looking at. And then again, we will continue to focus on the stormwater component through the watershed application. So if you have any questions for me.
Okay, anyone have any questions? Also have the architect signed up, if he would like to come up and add anything to it from the applicant's side.
My name is Peter Cucci. I'm an architect with McMillan, Pasden Smith, located in Charlotte, here in North Carolina. Address 1422 North Tryon Street. Basically, want to mention, you know, Jake pretty much hit the nail on the head in terms of the project itself. The client is putting a lot of effort into sustainability and actually making quite a serious amount of improvements. As far as the buildings are concerned, we're going to be completely renovating what you see currently in the front of the building and also adding an expansion off to the right side. So it'll be, you know, quite an improvement to the property is basically the way I like to say it. There'll be some green roofs. We have some solar that'll be on the roof. So that's pretty much it. So
Okay.
if anybody has any questions, I can answer them.
Anyone have any questions for the architect? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
I will open the public hearing for PD 2018-3-A2 Bloom. And we have signed up to speak for this as Wes and McCall.
How's it going? My name is Wes McLawhorn. This is my wife, McCall. We own the property directly across from Bloom, and we've been talking and working with them to express our issues on the watershed coming from the property, and they've been doing a good job about trying to stay on top of it and get us answers on stuff. So I look forward to continue working with them to mitigate the issues there.
And we appreciate them being good neighbors during the building process. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, having no one else signed up to speak on this matter, I will close the public hearing. And we'll move to the next one.
The next case is zoning map amendment number 751. Brian Moore is the applicant in this case, and he's requesting the rezoning of a 0.87 acre parcel from conditional zoning neighborhood business to industrial general. This parcel was conditionally rezoned in 2002 for vehicle sales based on a site-specific vesting plan that was presented to and approved by the Board of Commissioners at that time. The current owner, Mr. Moore, wishes to amend that plan, and so he has decided to rezone the property, and he has also submitted an application for a special use permit, which we'll hear later this evening, for vehicle sales and vehicle repair. Vehicle repair is only permitted in the industrial general district, so that's why you'll notice this is a rezoning from a business district to an industrial district. The subject property is located at 3012 North NC 16 Business Highway in Catawba Springs Township, and it's located in the Eastern Lincoln Development District overlay. The property is adjoined by properties on neighborhood business, industrial light, and residential single family. There's a mixture of land uses in this area, including industrial, business, and residential uses, and this property is located in an area designated by the Lincoln County Land Use Plan as Industrial Center. In your packet, you have examples of permitted uses under the current district, specifically that one use as shown on that approved plan from 2002, and then examples of permitted uses in the proposed district. This property is also located in a regulated water supply watershed, and so on his site plan that you'll see later in the special use permit case, the applicant addresses the impervious coverage limitations there with regards to that. Staff is recommending approval of this request based on consistency with the land use plan, and you have our proposed statement there in your packet. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have for me.
Anyone have any questions for Jeremiah? Okay, is the applicant here?
Brian Moore, 3012 NC 16 Business Highway. We're looking to improve a new facility off of Business 16 and give our customers and the whole community a new home for repairs, and also have a family-owned operating business as well. And we look to move the current building off of the watershed and move it towards the road a little bit and have a good home facility for the whole community to come and visit us for any automobile needs. I think with our landscaping and the design we have will really bring the community a lot of benefits as well with the business we're operating. That's all I got.
Anyone have any questions for the applicant?
Just one brief one. So you're not going to tear the old house down, you're going to move it forward? Is that what your plan is?
No, we're going to tear down the existing building and build a new building in front of that building that's already there.
Okay.
So that old building is going to be removed.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else have any questions for the applicant? Okay, I'll open the public hearing for ZMA 751, Brian Moore. And no one else has signed up to speak on this matter, so then I will close the public hearing. And we'll move on to ZMA 752.
For zoning map amendment number 752, Timothy Guyswhite is the applicant, and he is requesting the rezoning of 2.66 acres from neighborhood business to general business. The neighborhood business district has a maximum floor area of 10,000 square feet. The general business district has a maximum floor area of 50,000 square feet. The applicant has stated on their application that their intent for this rezoning was just in case their proposed development does exceed that 10,000 square foot cap. They want that ability to go above that with the proposed development here. So they're requesting the rezoning to general business. This property is located at 1316 South NC 16 Business Highway. on the south side of Old Plank Road at the intersection with NC 16 Business in Catawba Springs Township. The property is located in the Eastern Lincoln Development District overlay, and it's adjoined by properties zoned neighborhood business, industrial general, planned development industrial, and residential single family. There's a mixture of land uses in this area, including industrial, business, and residential uses, and this property is located within an area that's designated by the Lincoln County Land Use Plan as large lot residential. You have examples of permitted uses under the current district as well as the proposed district in your packet. And this property is also located in a regulated water supply watershed. And so it would be limited under the low density option to 36% impervious coverage.
Before we get started on any site plans. So basically for community appearance, what we're looking at is we would love to keep those magnolia trees on the corner. I think that's a great accent to that corner. We're looking at, our current site plan has about a 1/4 acre that's reserved on that corner that we're going to landscape out. The parking lot that we're going to do is going to be behind the building. So we believe it will bring a lot of beauty to the corner and good for the community. The second phase, if the door opens for this, we'd love to do some sort of pavilion on the property. My son got married at the pavilion up in Denver Methodist Church, and we would love to do something like that also on this property in the future for this community that's in the southeastern corner of the county. Place for people to do birthday parties, for weddings, for family reunions, something that would serve the community in the same way that we were served by Denver United Methodist when we lived there. So the church does acknowledge that the new zoning allows other permitted uses that, in looking through those, a lot of those have use standards, and there's also the special use layer of protection for the county for many of those changes. But we do acknowledge that obviously by doing this, we're opening up the door for additional uses but to express to you, our intention is to put a church there. And that's our aim and our goal and our focus with this piece of property. So one plea that I would make, and I don't know if that's in your purview or not, is that, man, we are just shy of having sewer at this property. It makes it to the southwest corner of Bloom. We've just had conversation after conversation with the Public Works Department. We would love in the future for sewer to be serviced. It would open up the possibility of us to use the building for, other than, we're having to be very intentional about what we design because we're going to have to do a sort of timed release septic system on this property. So I do think that we will go through the efforts in the future to try to tie into some sort of sewer if that would become something we could afford. Basically, it was $100,000 extra to kind of pump it up the street to the next manhole. So we also want to let the community know publicly that it wasn't the church that damaged the magnolia trees on the corner. They got chewed up by the contractor that was working on the sewer line. It's pretty far outside of the right of way, but we're working with the county. We know that somehow this property was overlooked when it came to the easements that were obtained for that sewer project. But we're working with the county. They did a little bit of repair on the tree. Well, hopefully we'll get a little bit more, but we're working with them on getting them the correct easements that they need because we know that project benefits the community as well. So we're working with them in that way. Again, our intention for the rezoning is to build a church, and we believe it'll benefit the community. We believe it'll be good for the community. So we're just asking for your consideration in this matter and for your favor. Thanks. If you have any questions, yeah.
Anyone
So
have any questions?
You said you wanted to move the house, and that someone is it the Schufords or the McLawhorns that have asked you about the house?
That was said in a phone conversation. They didn't mention that they wanted me to share that information, so I don't know if that's information that they want to step up and share.
Okay.
I just didn't want to share your name if you're, yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, for sure.
I got you.
Yeah.
So there's an interest in moving the home over,
Not to me, not to that property right behind.
okay, all right.
Actually, it's a friend of mine that's possibly be interested in something like that.
I got you. Okay, thank you.
if they didn't want it. Like he
Yeah. He mentioned it to me, and
That's fine. I just wondered.
we just don't want to bulldoze this old house
Yeah,
for
of
no
course.
reason. That's just, it's been well cared for, so it's,
Sure.
yeah.
I got you. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions for the applicant? Okay, so I will now open the public hearing for ZMA 752. And seeing no one else signed up to speak, I will declare the public hearing closed.
All right, the next case is zoning map amendment number 753. Troy Motts is the applicant in this case, and he's requesting the rezoning of a 6-acre portion of a parcel from residential suburban to general business. The subject property is located on the southeast corner of the intersection of Highway 150 and Lee Lawing Road in Ironton Township. The parcel as a whole is much larger than 6 acres, but the applicant is only desiring to rezone just the 6 acres on the corner. You have a survey of the proposed division of the land there included in your packet showing the 6 acres proposed to be rezoned. This property is located within an area that's designated by the Lincoln County Land Use Plan as Suburban Commercial Center, suitable for a variety of commercial uses to serve the daily needs of the surrounding residential neighborhoods. You have examples of permitted uses under both the current district and the proposed district. The planning staff is recommending approval of this request. You have our statement of consistency and reasonableness in your packet, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have for me.
Anyone have any questions for Jeremiah? Okay, is the applicant here? That was for Jeremiah. Is the applicant here?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Troy Motts. I own a construction company in Denver, North Carolina, and I live in West Lincoln. And the reason for rezoning it is just to put a convenience store, a gas station, something similar to the one that I did on Highway 73 and 27. And I think everybody knows that Highway 150 needs a gas station, so I didn't have anything prepared, but you feel free to ask me any questions you want.
Anyone have any questions for the applicant? Hold on, ma'am. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, I will now open the public hearing for ZMA 753, and we have signed up to speak Scott and Juliana Jarvis. You'll pass? Okay. Then we also have Dwight Little. Okay, if you want to come to the podium and speak.
Dwight Little. I live at 3043 Oak Ridge Circle, Lincoln, and that is just down below the entrance to the high school in the Royal Oaks subdivision. Mr. Motts is correct that we are in need of a gas station in that area. You have to go all the way from heading toward Lincoln. It is the market there close to the cemetery. And then the other direction, you'd have to go all the way down into Catawba County for any fuel. So that being said, there's a lot of traffic in the area. So my concern would be how access is going to be managed. Is it all going to be coming off of 150? Or would it be off of Lee Lawing Road as well, double entrance, or what? Because you got 1,200 student high school right down the road, and traffic, as any of y'all that live in the area know, that's a tough cookie in the mornings and afternoons whenever school lets out. So sooner or later, you're going to have a turn lane on 150 and Lee Lawing to help ease things. If there's an access to a service station off of Lee Lawing, you know it's going to be a big cut through. So that's my concern. I support the gas station, but I have concerns about the traffic. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, okay, I got it.
If I may, Chair. So while we don't have a site plan associated with this rezoning case, I did want to make mention for the board, since this is along a high-volume highway, unless the applicant were to come back to the board for approval of a site plan with full access to Highway 150, the 150 access for any type of development, gas station or otherwise, on this corner would be limited to right in, right out only, and the main access would have to come off of the side road, so Lee Walling Road in this case. So I just wanted to point that out to the board since it was mentioned by Mr. Little.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have one other wanting to speak. I don't think she was signed up. If you you can come on up to the. Okay, just come on up to the podium here and just. You're fine. Just if you would state your name and your address for
My
us.
name is Annette Boston. I live at 3361 Gordon Street, and the traffic is really bad, especially when school is going on. Whether there's going to school and going to work is just a headache. And we already have the Dollar General store, so when there've been several near misses, people just coming out of there when I'm coming up to go, either coming in to come home or going out to go somewhere. People coming in and out at the Dollar General. So I'm certain a gas station would be busier than that. So but I agree, we do need, gas, but people's safety and everything is my concern as well. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, seeing no one else signed up to speak, I will declare the public hearing closed. And at this time, the planning board will recess their meeting to room 310, and we'll take a little 5-minute recess.
Andrew, can you step up here for just a second?
Okay, we're back, and we have, Jeremiah, you ready? All right. SUP 523. Okay, we're back in session.
All right, for this next case, special use permit number 523, Brian Moore is the applicant, and he is requesting a special use permit for vehicle sales and vehicle repair in the Eastern Lincoln Development District overlay. Earlier, we heard the rezoning proposal for this same parcel for Mr. Moore, and this request involves a 0.87 acre parcel located at 3012 North NC-16 Business Highway. The property is currently located in a conditional zoning district that was approved for a vehicle sales lot in 2002. But as stated earlier, the applicant has submitted a request to rezone it to general industrial. And again, the reason for that rezoning to general industrial is for the proposed vehicle repair use as part of this special use permit. Land uses in this area include a mixture of industrial, business, and residential uses, and the property is located within an area that's designated by the Lincoln County Land Use Plan as industrial center. A portion of this parcel, not the entirety of it, but a portion of it is located within the WS4 critical area of the Catawba Lake Norman water supply watershed, which limits non-residential developments to a maximum impervious coverage of 24%. However, under the high-density option, that maximum impervious coverage may be increased up to 50% on a project-by-project basis, subject to approval by the Board of Commissioners. And along with that comes requirements for post-construction stormwater control measures. The applicant, I believe, has indicated on their site plan they wish to stay under that threshold and pursue the low-density option here. And so the plan is to demolish the current structure that's there now and build a new one as shown on the site plan. You have the specific use standards for vehicle repair and vehicle sales, some of which definitely informed the design on the site plan that the applicant put together. You have the applicant's proposed findings of fact in your packet, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have for me.
Anyone have any questions for Jeremiah? Okay, is the applicant still here? If you would come back.
Brian Moore, 3012 North NC-16 Business Highway.
Did you prepare the proposed findings of fact that were submitted with the application?
Yes.
And do you wish to incorporate those as part of your testimony?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. You have anything else to add?
I think the biggest thing with our repair, since we are selling cars, we like to have a home base for our customers to bring back the vehicles to us as we give the community a discounted price. I think with it being a car lot and a repair facility, I think it would help our customers and help the community have a discounted family-owned place to go every time they need something with their vehicles.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, I will open the public hearing for SUP 523, and please be aware you must be sworn in by the clerk before you can address the board. And with the applicant being the only one signed up to speak, I will declare the public hearing closed.
Mr. Chairman, can we approve this pending approval of the next one, of the prior? We just got to wait? Okay. Instead of just saying okay? Okay.
Yeah, so decision on the rezoning would need to be made before a decision could be made on this special use permit.
Okay. So do I need to move that we table it until then I'll move that we table it until the planning board gives us approval.
Okay, so we have a motion to table this decision until June the 16th of 2025 after the planning board gives their recommendation. Everybody understand the motion? All right. Any discussion? All in favor, indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it, so this will be postponed until the 16th of June.
And this final case, watershed special use permit number 41. Bloom Incorporated is the applicant. This is a companion case to the proposed amendment to the plan development that we heard earlier this evening. The applicant is requesting a special use permit to exceed 36% impervious coverage for a project in the WS4 protected area of the Catawba Mountain Island Lake Water Supply Watershed. This is a special non-residential intensity allocation under the 1070 option. And the applicant is proposing to develop a portion of a 39-acre site for an addition to the existing industrial operation at this location. Under that 1070 option, up to 10% of the acreage in a given watershed district may be developed with new non-residential projects, each having up to 70% impervious surface area. One of the findings of fact that must be made in these types of cases is that the development will either substantially increase the county's tax base or otherwise significantly promote or expand economic development and or job opportunities or serve a community purpose such as a place of worship, a school, or other community facility. The Catawba Mountain Island Lake watershed covers a little over 5,000 acres. To date, about 12 acres of that has been allocated for previously approved projects under the 1070 option. The applicant submitted their proposed findings of fact for this, and you have those included in your packet along with the same site plan that you saw earlier for the plan development amendment to the master plan. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you have for me.
Anyone have any questions for Jeremiah? Okay. Is the applicant still here? Are they in the other meeting?
We don't need.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Bear with us just a moment. I believe they joined the planning board.
Jake Modesto, CS Group, 3525 Whitehall Park Drive. For the findings of facts, I think we've gone through, not sure, I'm sorry I missed the initial for Jeremiah, your presentation of the whole thing.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, so, I mean, the project, and both is from a zoning standpoint, has been in place. What we're proposing to do from an overall standpoint within the 2.65 acres that is within the watershed area, generally is the same function of that area. We're improving both the functionality of the site and then adding a little bit of parking or mitigating any additional impervious coverage with 3 bioretention areas. When it comes to a net flow of impervious surface to the watershed area, really the site splits into 2 areas, right? We're going to call east and west. There's no increase in impervious areas going that way. Every other flow has been detained through the bioretention areas. So from the finding of facts, we do think this is not going to endanger the public health or safety. We've submitted in writing responses to 1 through 5. I can go through that if that's appropriate, or
Did you prepare them?
They were submitted as, the finding of facts was submitted as part of the
And you just
application.
want to incorporate those as part of your testimony?
Yes,
All right, thank you.
and that's all we have. That's the finding.
Anyone else have any questions for the applicant? Okay. I will open the public hearing for WSUP 41. All right, seeing no one else has signed up to speak, I will close the public hearing. I will entertain a motion to postpone the decision until after the decision is made on the rezoning on June the 16th, 2025.
So move, sir.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Carpenter. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, so we will make a decision on June the 16th. So now we'll move to item number 5, public hearing for system development fee study. Andrew.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I'm here tonight to present the system development fee study formally prior to a public hearing. The water and sewer business is not a cheap business to be in. Infrastructure and treatment facilities cost a lot of money, in the tens of millions of dollars, even for just small expansions of these facilities. In order to fund these expansions, the North Carolina General Assembly authorized the use of system development fees to help fund those. Those are one-time charges affixed to customers upon their connection to the system, and it helps fund capital improvements for these systems, mainly with treatment works as part of that. When the General Assembly authorized the use of system development fees, they did so in a very formal way that has a lot of milestones that must be reached. And one thing is a systematic approach to determining the cost of the impact per user to those treatment works, and also a required update of those costs over time. This is our first update to our original plan. And part of this is, and again, analyzing the cost per user. So what this plan showed was that from our original plan in 2018 to now, the cost per user has increased 15.8% for the water system development fees, from $3,102 to $3,592, and a 10.3% increase on sewer system development fees, from $1,621 to $1,788. Again, those are one-time charges provided by the customer when they initially connect to the system. These charges, again, help support the capital investment into our system and are a critical component of that funding model that we use to go along with it. As part of the requirements for the adoption of updated system development fees, a required 45-day posting has been made on our website where this study has been available, and this public hearing has been properly noticed in the Lincoln Times News in 2 subsequent weeks to do that. During that 45-day comment period, no public comments were received through that online portal to receive those, but tonight we're here to have the public hearing to solicit any further comments on this. Any questions?
Anyone have any questions for Andrew? Okay, I will open the public hearing concerning the system development fee study. And having no one signed up to speak, is there anyone in the room that would like to speak on this matter? Okay, being no speakers, I will declare the public hearing closed. I will entertain a motion to adopt the system development fee study.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. All right, now we will go to the public hearing for the budget. And at this time, I will open the public hearing concerning fiscal year 25-26 budget. And I have Ermadine Hull signed up to speak.
Good evening. I'm Ermadine Hoyle. I'm 4282 Wood Creek Lane in Lincolnton. And I'm here on behalf of the Board of Directors of Lincoln County, of Communities and Schools of Lincoln County. And first, I'd like to share a sincere thank you from the board for the past funding for the county. It's been critical in the programs and services that we've been able to provide over the years since the organization was started in the early 90s. I was first a member of Communities and Schools Board during my time as Recreation Director, so I've served on it off and on for a long time. And I came back a few years ago because I believe in what Communities and Schools can do. I've had the opportunity to talk to mentors, to teachers, and especially to the students to just see how that Communities and Schools has impacted their life and how they have helped them along the way. Our mission is, you've seen mission statements, but one word that best sums up our mission is the ability, just support. We're there to support the students however we can. We try to work and to get grants to leverage these funds. We've been able to secure funding from United Way, Sisters of Mercy, BOC, and other organizations in the past. Our core program is the program at the middle schools. We offer classes much like an elective at each of the 4 middle schools. There's 2 classes for each grade level, and that is our direct support, direct interaction. But our on-site coordinators, in addition to developing the individualized plans for those students in their core classes, they're also available to help any other student in the school that may need it. And the principals and guidance counselors and social workers are aware of that, and they know they can come to them for assistance with various needs. The children or the students that are, I still say children, it's just me. The students that are part of our program are some of the most vulnerable in the county, and they're at risk not necessarily because of the traditional court-related things you think about when you think about at risk. They may be at risk because of trauma that they've suffered, their family home life, loss of a parent or a sibling. There's lots of various reasons, and that's why we work with individualized plans, because we try to tailor it to fit the student. And so many of these students do not qualify for the more traditional programs that you have at the schools that they offer through their various levels of support. Mentorship is a big factor. That's been important. It took a hit during COVID, as a lot of things did, and they're in the process of rebuilding that back to provide that support, because often those students need help with maybe reading, maybe their math, or sometimes just to listen, somebody to listen to them because they need an ear, because they don't get that at home, and they have an opportunity to come. Communities and Schools of Lincoln County also manages the Teacher Resource Center that provides classroom and teacher supplies. We work with United Way on their Stuff the Bus, as well as other initiatives from other organizations, and we work with organizing and allowing teachers to come in and get their supplies from those programs. We also work with the Juvenile Crime Prevention Council. We'll be working with 3 programs for the upcoming year. Gives Back, which is a restitution and community service component. And from my previous years of working with various programs like this, that was always tough to have community service opportunities for youth because they needed to be supervised on the site. And most of those programs did not have that. We operate Gives Back, where we have an employee who does and provides that supervision and works with various agencies for support. We also do Strengthening Families, which provides family skills building and parental skills building for families in need. These programs are both court-ordered, involved, the participants are court-ordered. And also we have the Transitions Program, which we have an individual hired to work at Asbury Academy. They work with the students who help them stay on track for graduation, to learn what they need to do and what they might be missing, and they work with each individual one. So just wanted to share that we would ask that you reconsider your funding, because the loss of funding is going to have a serious impact on our organization and the projects that we can provide and the program level that we can provide for the upcoming year. And thank you, and if you have any questions, we always welcome the opportunity to share about our program and what you need to know.
Okay, thank you. Okay, having no one else signed up to speak, I'll open it. Does anyone else have anything to say about the budget? Okay, then with no additional speakers, I will declare the public hearing closed, and I would entertain a motion to adopt the Lincoln County budget.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I have a question. In the budget packet here under the fines and fees, I see in my packet that we have the $5 gun permit fee at the sheriff. I just asked counsel and advised that that's illegal. Deanna, can you advise if it's been removed? Okay.
I sent an email last week, Deanna, about it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I guess my only question is, we have a budget, but will the MOU with the school system impact that budget? And do we need to hold off until the 16th until we finalize the MOU, MOA, or whatever it is, we're going to do that tonight, and then do the budget? Is it?
That's fine with me if that's what you
I'm
guys.
just, I mean, is it going to make an effect? Come up here.
You're up next, so come on.
That's my only question is, we're going to make some decisions this evening, and
Correct. You can still adopt the budget tonight, and we can always amend in, if you make any decisions to change, we can amend that in the first meeting in July. We will commit the funds in committed fund balance so that they're taken out of available, just as if it was put in this budget. So you don't need to wait till the 16th,
okay, that's my only question.
but that's up to you.
No, my only question, I just didn't want to jump ahead of ourselves.
Yep, I agree. So do we have a motion to approve the budget as presented?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Carpenter. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the ayes have it. So the budget ordinance for fiscal year 25-26 has been approved. And we'll go back to Deanna.
Well, now that we have that out of the way, thank you so much. The first thing I'm here before you tonight is also for the schools. As you all know, that they are planning on expanding 3 schools in the first wave of the funding we agreed to finance for them. And the first school in that first funding is St. James Elementary. We have been working with Davenport and Robinson Bradshaw as our bond attorneys. And we need to call for a public hearing to be held on June 16th for an amount not to exceed $13 million, which should be more than enough, because I believe we're thinking it's about 10.9 for the financing for St. James, but this just gives us a little bit of wiggle room in case this, something happens before the financing. Again, we'll go to the LGC, I believe it's August 5th, and the financing will be closed probably within 2 to 3 weeks after that.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions for Deanna? Okay, I will entertain a motion to adopt a resolution approving acceptance of ARPA funds from DEQ.
So moved, sir.
All right, motion
No,
made
public
by.
hearing. Public hearing
We got to open
for
the public hearing. Okay, sorry
the
about that.
debt resolution, sorry.
So I will open the public hearing,
No, calling for the public hearing
call for the public hearing.
at the next one, not DEQ.
Well, that's, okay.
Is that what it says?
My note says for DEQ, so,
No.
okay, so we'll cancel that motion.
For St. James Elementary.
Okay. So we will make a motion to have a public hearing for the St. James Elementary School. So
moved, sir.
all right, Commissioner, motion made by Commissioner Cecina. Any discussion? All right. Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Okay, so we have passed unanimous. All right. Now you have the finance report on.
I got DEQ on my mind too, so
Yeah.
you're not alone. Okay, now we have the finance report for March. A little behind, I'll bring you April the next meeting. Through March 31st, the general fund had $2.6 million in interest allocated to it. We had $222,000 in the pooled interest account to be distributed. And as you knew, we budgeted $1.8 million in the general fund this year. Taxes budgeted for fiscal '25 are $88.9 million. We have collected through March was $88.5. And we do expect the remainder of the taxes to be collected before year end. Susan's really, really close. Sales taxes for fiscal '25 have been budgeted at 33.4. The first 7 collection months of the year, we've received $23 million. Total revenues in the general fund were at 92.96, expenditures 67%, utility revenues were at 75%, expenses were at 64%. Solid waste fund revenues are a little over 100% due to the availability fee collection, which is great, and expenses were at 76%. As you all know, we're finished with the '26 budget. And since you have adopted it, we will distribute it ASAP, statutorily to the libraries, the clerk, and all those, and we will have it online. We should have it on the website should have it tomorrow. The proposed budget's already there. The auditors were on site a couple weeks ago. They had no findings at that point in time with us or DSS or anybody else. Everything went smooth. They will return in September to complete it. And are there any questions from anybody? Nope. Thank you.
Questions? Thank you. Okay, we will move to public comment. This is where we allow citizens to address the board concerning any matter. If you're speaking for an individual, you get 3 minutes. If you're speaking for a group, you get 5, but the group needs to be identified. So right now, all we have is George Bill signed up to speak.
Good evening, Commissioners. I just want to start out by saying thank you for all the work you put in for Lincoln County. My name is Gage Beal. Didn't quite get it right, but that's all right. My address is 5528. Sorry, I don't have the best handwriting. East Highway 150 here in Lincoln. I just want to let y'all know, me and my team have kicked off a new news organization here in Lincoln called Leap News. And our goal is to kind of Leap News. Yes, sir, LEAP. Our goal is to kind of bridge the gap between local government and the citizens of Lincoln. So we're going to be reporting on county meetings, city meetings, and hopefully having podcast-style interviews with local officials to kind of get them more informed about the decisions that are being made, and I guess to kind of help them get to know y'all better as well, including myself. So I appreciate y'all, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that being the only one signed up to speak, anyone else want to speak in public comment? Okay, I will close public comment. Now we'll move on to other business. Is there any other business to come before this board? Okay, we'll go to item number 11, ordinance amending chapter 70. Ms. Gilbert.
So Commissioners, before you tonight, I have an ordinance amending Chapter 70 of the Lincoln County Code of Ordinances. This is a ordinance that exists for the regulation of parking on county-owned properties. We are amending this to incorporate county-owned, leased, and/or operated properties. This will allow us for any property that we lease, operate in conjunction with another entity, or own. This will give us authority to enforce parking regulations, which includes posting no parking signs for certain uses and other things. I'm also just cleaning up some of the language. I spoke with the sheriff's office. They mentioned a couple questionable things in the ordinance that just made it confusing, so I rewrote some of those. But this is only for introduction tonight, and if it is approved, I just noticed it's a typo on the cover page. It will be the 16th, not the 14th, when it comes back to you. But I will bring it back on the 16th for a vote.
Okay, anyone have any questions for Ms. Gilbert? Okay. Thank you. All right, item number 12, closed session. I'll entertain a motion to enter closed session.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to enter closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A3 to consult with the attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which is privileged and hereby acknowledged.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Mullen for closed session. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, we are in closed session. All right. We are back out of closed session. No action was taken. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion by Commissioner Cecina. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you.